Okay, so let's get into it. Our relationship with social media, it's a pretty big deal in our lives, right? But for a lot of us, that relationship has gotten, well, kind of complicated. So we're going to unpack why it's so darn hard to look away and, more importantly, how we can start to take back a little bit of control.
And really, it all starts with this one big question. Are these platforms actually bringing us closer together like they promised, or have they turned into something else? Something engineered to capture our attention and just not let go?
This really lays out the whole paradox perfectly. On one side, you have the promise, right? The amazing stuff. Connecting with old friends, finding a community that totally gets you, even raising awareness for causes we care about. But then there's the other side. And study after study is finding this really strong link between heavy social media use and things like anxiety, depression, and this gnawing feeling of being lonely or just not good enough.
So why do we keep going back for more, even when it sometimes makes us feel kind of crummy? Well, here's the thing. It is not a lack of willpower on your part, not at all. It's actually by design. Let's dig into the science of what's really going on.
Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating. The psychological hook is something called a variable reward system. Think about it. Every time you open an app, you have no idea what you're going to get. Maybe a new like, a comment, a message. That complete unpredictability triggers a little hit of dopamine in your brain. Yeah, the exact same reward chemical you get from pulling the lever on a slot machine. It's a powerful little loop that makes you want to check and check and check again.
And this whole thing gets supercharged with some very clever design features. You've got infinite scroll, which means there's literally no bottom to the page, no natural place to stop. You've got algorithms that get scarily good at feeding you exactly the content that'll keep you glued to the screen. And of course, those personalized notifications that pop up all day, creating this constant feeling that you have to check in right now.
And this is the trap, right? This is the cycle that so many of us can get caught in. It starts when you're feeling a bit down or lonely, so you pick up your phone for a little distraction, a little escape. But then, all that endless comparison actually makes you feel worse. So what do? You use it even more, hoping for that next little dopamine hit to make you feel better, and down the spiral you go.
And the impact of this cycle is huge, especially for younger people. Now, the numbers vary, but researchers estimate that somewhere between 5 and even 20% of teenagers are dealing with what could be classified as a social media addiction, where it's really starting to negatively affect their lives and well-being.
So with all that in mind, let's get personal for a minute. How can you tell if your own habits are maybe crossing a line, from being a fun thing to do into something a little less healthy? There are a few key questions you can ask yourself.
First up, just a simple check-in. And be honest with yourself here. Has your online social life started to replace your offline one? Is scrolling through feeds becoming the default, even when you're physically in the same room with friends or family?
Next, think about how you feel after you've been scrolling for a while. We all know it's just a highlight reel, right? Nobody posts their bad days. But does it still leave you with that sinking feeling comparing your life, your body, your career to everyone else's? That comparison trap is a really big red flag.
And what about your sleep? Are you checking your phone right before you turn out the lights, and then first thing when you open your eyes? It's kind of a double whammy, because the blue light messes with your sleep cycle, and the constant alerts can keep your brain buzzing when it should be powering down. And really, this is the bottom line. After all the time you spend scrolling and liking and posting, does it leave you feeling better or worse? If the honest answer is consistently worse, if you feel more anxious or more lonely, that's a pretty clear sign it's time to make a change.
Okay, so if any of those questions felt a little too real, here's the good news. You are not powerless here. There are totally doable, evidence-backed ways to get your time and your sanity back. And no, it doesn't mean you have to delete all your accounts and go live in a cabin. Unless, that's your thing.
And what's so empowering is that even tiny changes can make a massive difference. I mean, check this out. A major study found that just cutting back social media to 30 minutes a day, that's it, 30 minutes, led to huge drops in anxiety, depression, loneliness, and that awful fear of missing out.
So how do you actually do it? Here are a few things you can start today. First, just see where the time is going. Use your phone's own tools or an app to track your usage. Then, go on a notification diet. Seriously, turn off everything that isn't from a real human being. Create some no-phone zones, like at the dinner table or for the hour before bed. And when you are online, try to actually engage instead of just passively scrolling. That seems to help too.
And a lot of this is also an inside job.
A really powerful way to fight back against that FOMO is to actively shift your focus. Instead of getting stuck on what everyone else has, take just a minute every day to think about what you have, right here, right now, that you're grateful for. It sounds simple, but it works.
So at the end of the day, the goal isn't to make technology the bad guy. It's about learning to use it on our own terms, as a tool that actually makes our lives better, instead of letting it be the one that uses us.
And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? It all comes back to this. We are social creatures, sure, but we are fundamentally wired for real, face-to-face, in-person connection. Making that a priority is maybe the single best thing you can do to find that healthy balance.
So, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. A little challenge, really. Forget about some giant digital detox plan for a second. Just think, what is one small offline connection you can strengthen today? Maybe you call a friend instead of just texting them, or you ask a coworker to grab a quick coffee. That one small step could be the beginning of everything changing for the better.